She wanted compassion. She wanted a life partner. She wanted a man that was already taken. Returning to her desk, she took back to her notes, stroking her charm and putting the event that just happened behind her. Love would come for her when she had the time for it. Where was she? Oh, yes. Robert Divinity needed a new arm brace for his wrist because of the scouting accident that happened 2 weeks ago. What are you doing? I can show you the world. Oh, Paulus, you are not singing that song, I swear by the great God. Sweet, soft laughter is heard. And why not? I happen to be a great singer. If you are a beach whale, why you. Laughter is heard in tumbling, shifting noises on sheets, and soft mumbles and kisses. I love you. I love you too. Sasha didn't really know what a slut was. She wasn't like Lem, who used women here and there, almost like a tissue box. She had her share of kisses in life, but each had been pleasant with each man. She just really liked the attention that men gave her. She enjoyed feeling safe when clinging to a sort of arm of someone she knew. Other women were jealous of her. She had charm, beauty, and grace. It helped her keep her rank almost. She was able to turn on the suave movements and work that into her favor. No, she wasn't a slut. She didn't sell her body. She gave her body to the men she loved. Gino always seemed to hold her the right way, and Ian would always run his fingers in the right spot in her hair. The emotions that ran down through her core were something akin to warmth and safety. That was love, wasn't it? The warm, fuzzy feeling that she got what she let others desire her, that she let others desire her. No, a slut didn't feel anything for sex. It would be only sex if it was a slut. She gave love freely, or so she thought was love. She drowned in that urethra of emotions that rushed through her when in somebody's arms, giving them adoration just as they were giving it to her. If Sasha could compare herself to anything, it would be the pearly gates, and she would be open to let anyone who accepted it. Letting her light flow onto those who needed to be quenched by it, and she would be that line that drew them in. She didn't mind being a gate. It was a sober feeling, and even then it made her giggle. Well, she can almost be poetic. Flashback quotes. God, Sasha, Gino said, it's wonderful, so wonderful. Your, end quote, tightly wrapped the soft sheets around her slender form, turning onto her stomach, so the legs swung up and down in a flirty motion. Maybe when Ian returns, she could let her loose her pearly gates for him. Oh, how she adored him. Maybe not as much as Gino, but it was close enough. Gino didn't give her nice things that most now didn't get. His frame was nice and stick-like. Gino was strong and had muscles that suited her. The door to her room squeaking open and Ian coming in with his new key card averted her attention. Speak of the devil. The phrase was on her tongue, but she could not declare it out loud. She only smiled sweetly at him and placed her chin innocently within the palms of her hands. Did you see Josie about the pills? He stiffened slightly before relaxing and placing the pills on the table next to his keycard. He didn't say anything, but his head was bowed, as in either a thought or even some sort of prayer. Sasha's smile fell slightly as she regarded the young man in front of her, lazy chocolate eyes tracing the tips of his raven locks to the worn sneakers, clothing his feet. The woman on the bed felt a prick of anger rising up within her system. Why wasn't he coming to her and laying on top of her, smothering with his warmth and letting her rob his moans with her own pleasure? Did he not see that she was grateful so another accident didn't come their way? The woman almost started to grumble to herself in slight frustration, narrowing her eyes to almost pinpoints when Ian stared at the floor. And silence swelled the room. Ian, is something wrong? Love? How she said the last part was almost too sweet, sickly in a coat of honey and with the taste of rusted tire iron. Sasha knew that it would get to him, let him crawl under her nails again. Her slender form began moving from the bed and the tangled sheets dropping like a snow blanket on darkening soil. Her tan legs leaking forward, and the pale light made her bronze skin aglow. Moving towards him at a slow pace, she barely noticed the cold tiles under her feet. All that mattered was that she stopped in front of him, pressing her small bosom against his closed chest, and tracing her nails against the underside of his chin, purring at him, while her pretty lips turned into a downward pout. Ian, are you not happy with me? His panic eyes flashed forward towards hers, and Ian shook his head in a flurry, fumbling over the words that left his mouth dry, and took a few rambling quotes to finally get out what he wanted to say. Sasha, no. How can you say that? How can you think that? I love you. His rough hands that told stories of war with each rugged line clamped down on her smooth arms. The loving beach girl gone selfish princess. This made her smile inward, then it echoed upward into her lips, turning that frown upside down. Pressing her body closer into his, she could feel his hot heat and stealing it like it was gold. Oh. She turned that frown upside down, all right. Ian shivered, and Sasha took this moment to divide and conquer. Weakness was the only way to win the war. Find it and take it. She'd take that pill later on. Gambino's jacket was huge on her, and the sleeves swallowed her arms. Her watered-down silver eyes stared down at the workers moving in and out of the areas. The GGF was huge, and being next to the man that formed it surely would be an amazing thing. But the woman didn't really care that much, regarding around her with almost a bored expression on her face. Being in the shadow of the balcony on this private level gave some comfort in case others started to ask if the man next to her took on a lover. What's the next step? You have everything of this so-called legend? She asked before her eyes went straight to him, her voice monotone. We do. The leaders will meet and we will go over what needs to be done. Then evaluate your condition and a date will be set after you are physically checked. No. Gambino looked at her. Excuse me? Her eyes narrowed and they sparkled with a fire that never seemed to be there before. Time is short, and I don't have time to bullshit while a group of so-called leaders decide my future. Apollos came to me. He didn't come to you. He came to me. Told me to go forth. I'm not letting that bastard take what is mine. Gambino was silent for a moment. Her words confused him, and let a burst of heat into his heart ooze for that moment. He could always overrule anything that needed to be done here. People looked to him. They had what was needed and the equipment to transform this woman into his bidding. Licking his lips and swallowing. Are you sure of this? Her eyes were like stars about to become a supernova. Yes. Transform me. As you wish. He held out his hand again, taking her into the night to make room for the transformation of day. Did you mean it? That you could show me the world? Yes. Shining, shimmering, splendid. What if I gave you my world? What do you mean? Movement of fabric is heard. Do you? Yes. Please take it. It's yours. I love you. I love you too. End of chapter 3. Correction, end of chapter 2.